Welcome to our next installment of our Journey to Financial Wellbeing series. I'm Julie Menders, the Adult Programming Coordinator at Otis Library, and I'm here with Pam Days-Luketich from Liberty Bank. And this is our seventh in the series, and this one we're going to talk about getting ready to buy your first home. So this is a big topic. This is important stuff. So I'm going to hand this right over to Pam, and we'll get going.
Great. Thank you, Julie. Hi, everyone. So excited. Number 7 on our financial wellness journey. So today's topic, getting ready to buy a home, we're just going to talk about basic topics of what it means to be a homeowner and the things you have to start putting together if you're thinking of becoming a homeowner down the road. So the first steps in getting ready is to decide if it's something you even want to do. I know earlier in the series we talked about setting goals and really taking a deep dive and looking at your values and what is important to you. And so if one of those values was home ownership, this is a great time to start to put things together for it. We're also going to figure out how much you can afford because that's very important when it comes to purchasing a home, and talk a little bit about how credit impacts your home buying. So, there are many reasons people want to buy their own home. And so some of them are you want to have it for stability. If you own your own home, then it's yours and you can make all the choices that you want. If you want to paint it hot pink, you can paint it pink. You can put an addition on. You can design your yard with gardens or not. The choice is all yours. When you're renting, you're at the mercy of your landlord a lot of times. There might be certain restrictions on what you can and can't do. So, homeownership offers you that freedom. It also offers you that stability because your home is yours. And as long as you're paying your mortgage, you can stay there for as long as you want. Sometimes when you're renting, the landlord may decide to sell, and you might find yourself now having to look for a new place to live. And also, owning a home can really help build wealth and create equity. So, what is equity? Equity is the market value of your home minus what you owe on it. So, if your home is worth $500,000 and you owe $250,000, you have $250,000 of equity, meaning that is extra money built into your home that you can borrow against in the future. Or if you sold your home, that would be profit that you have to purchase your next home. So, and that continues to grow as you pay down your mortgage. So, if you had a mortgage for 30 years and say you paid extra on that, after 20 years, that whole value of the home would be yours. So, it's a great source of wealth and security because having that, you have a place to live. And if in your retirement years you ever needed more money, you could always sell that house and downsize and have extra um, income, or you have that home to pass on to your family. So a lot of times you'll hear the term creating generational wealth. You have that home, you own that home, you're passing it on to family members who can either stay in the home or sell the home and use that funds to build their wealth, and you're passing it on from generation to generation. So, market value of your home, I don't know if many of you have looked at the different home prices now, but they have all gone up quite a bit, right, over the years. A lot of times somebody might talk to a parent or a friend that said, I bought my house for $100,000 and now it's valued at 300 or 400, 500. So the value of homes continue to go up. Sometimes the market may adjust, so your home value could go down a little bit, But generally, you usually always see the value of homes and real estate, generally increasing. So now the market value of homes is very high, and we may see an adjustment, we may not, but it's usually a pretty safe investment when you're buying a home if you do your homework ahead of time and check inspections and all of that, which we're going to talk about at our next class. So, just some things to think about when you want to start to get ready for a home. A lot of times, the first thing people do are pre qualify. So, they talk to someone to find out an estimate about how much money you would need to borrow to buy a home and how much you would be able to borrow. So this a pre-qualification isn't exactly is not an approval for a loan, but it gives you an idea of how much money you'd be able to borrow so that you could start looking. A pre-approval requires more documentation, and that's when the lender actually does a deep dive into your finances and under certain conditions will tell you how much you could be approved for. So, some of the documents that you want to start to get together and start pulling together to get ready to purchase a home are your W 2s and tax returns. You need a minimum of 2 years. Sometimes certain programs will require you to have 3 years of tax returns. Depending on the program you're looking into, there are lots of different programs for first time homebuyers available, and a lot of them require a little bit more documentation, but it's worth it because the money that you can get towards your down payment or closing costs is really beneficial. A lot of times, or always, you'll need to show employment history. And we want to see a minimum of 2 years employment history. So it's great if you've worked in the same job for 2 years and you can show that history. But if you've switched jobs, but you have consistent employment and your job has been to improve your employment, that's fine as well. And in certain circumstances, your college, if you're just graduated from college, your college experience can add to your employment history. Uh, you want to show your pay stubs and also we want to take a look at your checking and savings account statements to see what assets that you have. Another thing that we want to get ready in addition to your income is your credit. So, taken before you even start to apply or move on to getting in the homeownership journey, you really want to take a deep dive in your credit. And if you forgot about that, you can go back to our sessions 4 and 5. We're on credit and look and see how your credit score is. When a bank pulls your credit, they pull from all three of the credit bureaus. And currently, they do use FICO scores and they do what's called a tri merge. So they'll look at Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, pull all three of your scores together and do the average score, is what they'll use for your mortgage. That is probably the only time they look at all three credit bureaus' scores. You can make sure that your credit is in good standing by paying all of your bills on time, not using credit during the period that you're looking to purchase a home. So you don't want to charge up your credit cards. You want to try to pay down as much as you can because the bank is going to look at your debt to income ratio. So we want to keep your debt as low as possible so that you can qualify for your home. So sometimes people during this time look at their credit and say, oh, it's not quite right. So pull your free credit report, check and see, and then make any changes you need to do during this time. Now's the time to really improve your credit. You have some time to do that. and get it all ready so that when you go to apply for your mortgage, there aren't any surprises. A lot of times we'll see a customer will come in, they found their perfect home, they were all excited, and then we pull credit and they have some things they need to work on. And as you know, sometimes fixing your credit can take a year or two. And in that time, the house would be sold to someone else. So, really taking your time and getting your credit in good shape first is very important. So, let's be strategic in the things that you're going to do. So, first of all, let's decide if you're ready to make this big commitment. If now is the time is right for you, if buying a house aligns with your values. So, take some time and write out all the reasons that you may want to purchase a home, and maybe even compare reasons why you don't want to, or now might be the right time, and weigh it out before you make this big decision. Gather all of your documents and check your credit. We like to say, look at your CIA. Credit, check that. Income, all of your income documents, and then gather your asset documents, which would be your bank statements and insurance fund statements or pension statements, retirement statements. All of that would be your assets. So gather all your documents, get your credit and ship shape, and be ready to go. And our next session will take a deeper dive and look at the process of applying for a mortgage and what your mortgage payment consists of, and all of those things that you need to know when purchasing a home.
Thank you, Pam. That was so interesting and so helpful. And all of these sessions that we've done leading up to this kind of build to this. So, like Pam mentioned, if you this happens to be the first one that you click on, there is more information in our previous sessions that could be really helpful if you are a first-time home buyer. So, thank you so much, Pam. And also know that here at Otis Library, we have quite a few books dealing specifically for first-time home buyers. And one of them that I'm going to recommend, it's fairly recent. This came out in 2022, and it's called Home Buying 101. And this is by John Gorey. The subtitle is From Mortgages and the MLS to Making the Offer and Moving In, Your Essential Guide to Buying Your First Home. So this might be helpful to you along with some of the other resources we have here at Otis Library. So thank you again, Pam, and thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.